Hi, I'm Cynthia Corsetti, Executive Coach and Career Transition Expert. I want to welcome you to the Job Search Bootcamp, and if this happens to be your first visit, you're actually joining us as we wrap up the course. This video is part of a full intensive course, so if you haven't watched the earlier modules or videos, you're going to want to jump back to the beginning and watch them all now because it is going to give you all the information that you need for your job search. In this particular video, we're going to wrap things up with a little review, and we'll do that really important work of covering some really common interview pitfalls to make sure that you are set up for success. I do hope that you've enjoyed watching the Job Search Bootcamp, and I hope that you found value in it. And I want you to feel free to reach out by email if you have any questions, and if you're in a career and you want to get out of it, but you have absolutely no idea where to begin. If you feel like you just don't even know where to start, click the link below and schedule a call with me. I've got you covered. As always, if you find value in what I'm offering, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram. With that, let's play this final course video. Spectacular achievement is always preceded by unspectacular preparation. Robert Schuller. You know what? You deserve huge kudos for all the preparation you're doing. Today's a really good day to step back and do some review. Here's what we're going to cover. 1, we'll review the behavior-based format. 2, introduce some tips to set you apart from the competition. And 3, alert you to some common interview mistakes. Buckle up. We're off. Let's start with that quick review of the behavior-based format. Remember, your job is to answer the question by using a real example, and that means that you must listen carefully to the question and be sure you're clear in what is being asked. It's okay to ask the interviewer to further explain or to repeat a question. It's so much better to do that than to answer incorrectly because you weren't clear. Once you have clarity, you're going to want to answer with all 3 of the components: the situation or task that you were dealing with, the actions you took to resolve the situation, and the results or the changes that were brought about because of the actions that you took. And here's a few tips that will help you out. Tip 1. It's important to include all aspects for every question, because if you don't, the interviewer is going to have to continue to probe and keep digging until he gets the whole answer. Tip 2. Remember to keep your answers focused on you and your actions. It's great to talk about the team, but the team's not on the interview. You are. So you can mention the team, but keep the highlight on you. Tip 3. Silence is okay. Don't jump into an answer. Instead, take a moment. Breathe. Think before you speak. Finally, let's wrap this up with some common mistakes that you should try to avoid. Mistake 1. They use generalizations or hypothetical phrases like I usually, or I would, or I typically. A generalization would sound something like, I always stay organized, always. Like, here's the thing, no you don't. No one does. Be specific. Tell us of a time that you did. A hypothetical answer would be, I would handle that client as though they were a member of my family. Great answer. But is it true? Instead, tell me about when you did handle a client in a positive way. The key is to be specific. A real example. Not something that you make up. Mistake 2. Don't give unnecessary details. This is a little trickier, so let me give you a specific example. I had a client in my interview mastery program that was doing her first mock interview with me. She started off answering the question really well. She would tell me exactly what the situation was. But as she started to tell me about what she did about it, she would go off into various unrelated areas. So instead of just saying something like, I needed more information, so I went to accounting, she would say, I knew I needed more information, so I called accounting. But then I remembered that Tim from accounting was on his honeymoon, so he was off for the next 2 weeks. So that meant I had to call Allison, who's also in accounting. The description of her actions was way too detailed. She gave irrelevant information, and in so doing, she risked never really getting to the answer of the question. She did this because she was nervous. She just started grabbing at random actions and thoughts. I told her to think of her action items like a grocery list. When she writes what she needs to buy at the grocery store, she doesn't say, blueberries. I need blueberries. I think they keep the blueberries near the bananas. I'm going to see if the bananas are by the blueberries. And I'll check to see if the bananas are ripe too while I look for the blueberries. That's not how she makes her list. She simply writes blueberries. It's the same with your list of action items. Just tell me what you did in the order you did it and leave out the extras unless that extra pertains to the question. Remember, your goal is to tell me that you are the best candidate for the job, so stick to the point and answer the question specifically. Mistake 3, people skip practicing. Because behavior interviews involve stories and real-life situations, so people sometimes get this false sense of security and they think, I can wing it, and they don't practice. I promise you that this is a recipe for disaster. When you don't practice, you run the risk of rambling, repeating yourself. You may use stories that are irrelevant to the question. Take the time to practice. Memorize at least 5 stories that you can pull out for various questions. Stories that demonstrate your knowledge, your skills, and your leadership abilities. As you work through practicing with the questions in the member area, make sure that for each one of them, you use the same format. What was that situation? What did you do about it? And what was the results? Well, congratulations. You now have all the information that you need to go into your next interview prepared and confident. Your preparation was hard and unspectacular, but as Robert Schuller reminded us, that unspectacular preparation will lead to spectacular achievement. You've got this. Thank you so much for letting me join you on your job search journey. It's going to be an amazing time in your life. You've got this, and I'll see you soon.